Talk about a crusher. Yes! Oh!
Are you kidding me?
And gone!
Welcome back to the Schoolyard Sports podcast. I'm the host of this podcast, Lane Frank. We're now at episode 185. So 185 episodes through, and I got action-packed episode planned for you. MLB playoffs are set and are on the way. College football, great week 5. NFL, great week 4. NBA, we've had some massive deal done over the weekend, trade, and media days. Everything ramping up for the start of the season. So much more. Stay tuned for this action-packed episode 185. Let's hop into it. Let's start off episode 185, how we always do, with the headlines in the NBA. Karl Anthony Towns, the Minnesota hero, the former number 1 overall pick, has been traded over to the New York Knicks. Let's go. New York on top. What a great deal this is. I'm not going to break it down fully right now. Just have to wait and see until later on the episode where I go fully into this trade, but really the main news in the NBA this week. Karl Anthony Towns is now a New York Knick. Let's go. In the NFL, we had a great week 4. Cowboys kicked it off on Thursday Night Football. Beating down on my New York Giants in New York, unfortunately. Daniel Jones didn't play good football. Just frustrating to watch. The Falcons, they beat the Saints on Sunday. Falcons just playing good football. Saints, after their really good first 2 weeks of the season, crumpling a little bit. Kirk Cousins gets a good win in that building on Sunday. 2-2. Atlanta Falcons, 2-2. New Orleans Saints. Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams, they're 2-2 now. Caleb Williams actually playing some pretty good football. They beat down the Rams. It's a really good coach, Sean McVay, they're beating. Luke Getsy, offensive coordinator for the Bears. Didn't call such a terrible game. Actually, excuse me, Shane Waldron, former offense coordinator, Luke Getsy. Shane Waldron, the new offense coordinator for the Bears, who's been facing a little bit of criticism over the past week from players, from fans, coaches, other coaches. Now gets it done. Big win over the Rams they had on Sunday. The Vikings there, buddy, still rolling, still undefeated, and Sam Darnold is still playing great football. Love to see it, everybody. Colts had a great win on Sunday, playing good football, and the Richardson, again, things going. The Broncos, Bo Nix. Bo Nix beat down New York Jets. Nathaniel Hackett maybe called that his revenge game a little bit. Go up against his former team, Denver Broncos. Didn't work out. Jets lost to the Broncos. And this is a thing now where it's like, where are we with New York Jets? What type of path are we going on? Because we thought last year the problem was just, we didn't have Aaron. Now what's the problem? Is it Saleh? I think so. I fully think it's Robert Saleh. Now you're losing to a rookie quarterback who can't even really throw for over 100 yards. As a defensive head coach, that's disgusting to lose that type of game. Disgusting. Bo Nix, credit to you. Sean Payton, credit to you. Find a way to win the game. Go win 10-9 over the New York Jets to the Denver Broncos. Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat down the Philadelphia Eagles. And I said it all week. I said these teams faced off in the wild card last year. It was in Tampa Bay. I don't think the Buccaneers got worse, and I don't think the Eagles got better. It was going to be the same result. And yes, yet again, it was the same result. At that point in time, the Buccaneers had 230 yards, while the Eagles had 0. Just disgusting football from Nick Sirianni, and great football from Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield, and Todd Bowles. Cincinnati Bengals getting back on the right track a little bit after a tough loss to the Commanders last week. They beat down on the Carolina Panthers. Andy Dalton does not get his revenge game. Little funny thing about Andy Dalton and all the teams he's played for after his tenure in Cincinnati, he's played Cincinnati Bengals in pretty much all of them. Loses this time. So Zach Taylor, they get a nice win. Joe Burrow, keeping it rolling. Good win over the Carolina Panthers. No Bryce Young again. The Carolina Panthers, Andy Dalton got the crack at it. Houston Texans got a good win on Sunday. CJ Stroud recovering a little bit after that really tough loss to Sam Darnold and the Vikings, 40-7. But they get a good win over the Jaguars, 24-20. For the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence still hasn't won a football game since last Thanksgiving. Last Thanksgiving is the last time Trevor Lawrence, former number 1 overall pick, won a game. Terrible stuff right there. Commanders, keeping it rolling. Jaden Daniels looking incredible. Jaden Daniels has led more scoring drives, 23, than incompletions, 19, in just the 4 games he's had so far in his NFL career. Kudos to him. The 49ers, they took down the Patriots on Sunday. Patriots, quarterback struggles, whatever you want to say. 49ers, no Christian McCaffrey. Injury, Achilles tendon ice, and both Achilles now apparently. Tough stuff right there for the 49ers with the Christian McCaffrey situation. But they got a good win on Sunday. The Raiders took down the Browns on Sunday. Gardner Minshew got the start. Thought about maybe switching to Aiden O'Connell during the week. Antonio Pierce, head coach, thought about that. Didn't do it. Stuck with Gardner Minshew. And Minshew didn't play great. But he did enough. Didn't turn the ball over. And they got the win over the Cleveland Browns. But the bigger takeaway from this game is this is the last game Davante Adams has ever played as a Las Vegas Raider. Putting it out right now, that is the last game Davante Adams has ever played as a Las Vegas Raider. Antonio Pierce liked the post that said that. There's been rumors about it all week. There's always rumors about it. And now it's going to happen. Davante Adams is done as a Las Vegas Raider, in my opinion. He should go back to Green Bay. He really should. They would need him. He'd love Jordan Love playing with him. Loved Green Bay. Fans loved him. That's what you should do, in my opinion. At least try to find a way to go back to Green Bay. But if not, he'll find a new home. Putting that out there right now. Kansas City Chiefs, they won again. 17-10 over the Chargers. Every game for the Chiefs this season, none of them been blowouts. They've been finding ways to win. Week 1 against the Ravens, they found a way to win. Week 2 against the Bengals, they found a way to win. Refs, whatever you want to say, they found a way to win. Week 3, same thing against the Falcons. Some calls going their way. You can call that luck. You can call that good football. They found a way to win. And yet again here against the Jim Harbaugh-led Los Angeles Chargers, they just found a way to win. The Monday Night Football games, Titans took down Miami Dolphins. Now this Titans team isn't a good team, in my opinion. But neither are the Miami Dolphins. This is the same story every year with the Dolphins. Good start, Tua gets a concussion, you lose the games with the backup, then you get into playoff position, then you crumple in the winter. Well, Tua got the concussion early this year, everybody. He got it in week 2. Now they're crumpling. Now they don't know what to do. Interesting to think about. And I want to backtrack really quick to the Sunday Night Football game. The Ravens just crushed the Buffalo Bills. They finally utilized Derrick Henry in the way they should. Played great, 3 touchdowns. They got a great win. And the final game we had in the NFL of the week, also Monday Night Football, Lions versus the Seahawks. I'll admit, I counted the Lions out. I thought Seahawks undefeated. They were going to keep it going. Mike McDonald, good defensive head coach. No, Jared Goff went 18 for 18, torching them the whole entire game. So kudos to him. Great game by Jared Goff, former #1 overall pick. Cal quarterback. Cal got a good game this week in football against Miami. Last time Cal was good at football was when Jared Goff was the quarterback, and Jared Goff is playing some good football right now for the Detroit Lions. Finally, with our headlines in MLB, the playoffs are set. The Mets won an incredible doubleheader first game against the Braves on Monday. Then they lost the second game, but that doesn't matter. What an incredible whirlwind of a game that was on Monday afternoon. Great stuff right there from the Mets. And the playoffs are set. We're in the wild card rounds, entering divisional rounds soon. You're just going to have to wait and see my around the bases playoff predictions. Last year we got them all right, picking the Texas Rangers to win it all from the jump. Can we do that again this year? Just going to have to wait and see. Stay tuned. Now, Schoolyard Sports NFL Game Day, Week 5 in the NFL season. Perfect record starting right now. Buccaneers versus Falcons. Get a little NFC South divisional round game right here. I'm going to go with the Falcons at home. This team's playing well. I have a different vibe around the Falcons this year. It reminds me of that 2017 team. It's a good team. It's a good stadium. When you get that stadium loud, these fans go crazy. That's what they're doing right now. So Baker Mayfield gets a little bit floundered. Good teams, both of them, but Falcons get the job done. 31-27 over the Buccaneers on Thursday Night Football. Jets versus the Vikings. Sam Darnold's on a revenge tour, and he's not marking off everybody, and he's coming back for more interest. It is the revenge tour, call it like the Michigan 2018 team. The revenge tour with more interest, and he's doing that all year. Beat the Niners, his former team. Is going to beat the Jets this week. He's going to beat the Panthers if they play them. He is an incredible player so far this year, Sam Darnold. Just give him the MVP, it looks like right now. Right now, I would say Sam Darnold is the MVP of the NFL. I would. Playing great football. This is the Sam Darnold that we thought was coming out of USC. This is the Peyton Manning, the Tom Brady, the amazing Dan Marino type of quarterback we thought we were getting. And we're getting it right now, everybody. In year 6 or 7 of Sam Darnold, we're getting it. Same with Baker Mayfield. Maybe we get some other guys' chances. What if we bring back Josh Rosen? Don't want to go off topic here, but Vikings get a nice win over the Jets. Jets start to crumple. I mean, this team's not playing well. Jets fall again. Panthers versus the Bears. I'm going to go with the Bears in this one. Caleb Williams played really well last week, showing some good promise. Bears over the Panthers, and the Panthers are a free win right now. Sorry, Raiders, I know you got crumpled by them, but free win right now is the Panthers, and Bears get the win over them. Ravens versus the Bengals. I'm going to go with the Ravens in this one. Even though the Bengals played well last week, again, it was over the free win team, Carolina Panthers, so let's go with the Ravens over the Panthers, playing great football after that 0-2 start. 2-2 now with wins of the Cowboys and the Bills. They've had the toughest schedule in the NFL by far. They are more than prepared for this game. Ravens over the Bengals. Bills versus the Texans. I went back and forth in this one, but I landed on the Houston Texans. They're at home. C.J. Stroud is hungry for a win. They get a win right here over the Bills. Raiders versus the Broncos. Again, Bo Nix and Sean Payton. They're finding ways to win. There's turmoil with the Raiders about their quarterback situation, Devontae Adams. I'm going to go with the Broncos over the Raiders in this divisional matchup. Packers versus the Rams. Packers didn't play great last week. They kind of turned up at the end, making it very close to the Vikings. Jordan Love needs a win. They're 2-0 with Malik Willis and 0-2 with Jordan Love as their quarterback, but I think they get a win. Jordan Love this week to move on to 3-2. Packers over the Rams. Last 3 games of the week, Sunday Night Football, Cowboys versus Steelers. Heinz Field, Sunday Night Football. Justin Fields is the starting quarterback. Dallas is walking into town. These fans are going to be electric. This team is going to be electric. This is a incredible opportunity right here, sitting at 3-1. I'm going to get the Steelers over the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. In the final game of the week, the Saints versus the Chiefs. I'm keeping my theme going. Theme is going, everybody. The Chiefs are going to find a way to win this one. It's going to be close. It's not going to be a blowout, but they're going to find a way to win, because that's how it's been all year for the Chiefs. I think that might be how it is all year, and they might just go 17-0. Chiefs over the Saints. And that's about for Schoolyard Sports NFL Game Day. Now, top 5. This week's top 5 is my top 5 Heisman contenders in college football. We're through 5 weeks of college football season. We've seen some great highlights from some great players, some freshmen, some seniors, some younger players in between. And I'm going to give you my top 5 players so far in college football. My Heisman Schoolyard Sports watch list. Number 5, 17-year-old, should be in high school, should be going to school like I am right now in high school. Ryan Williams, receiver from Alabama. He's incredible. Just pulling the tape. Incredible in their first game. Incredible against Southern Florida. Incredible against Wisconsin. And more than incredible against Georgia. This guy can move mountains on a football field. He's got Kyrie handles on a football field. He's incredible. Ryan Williams, number 5. Number 4, someone who gets a lot of hate in college football, but someone who's really good at college football, Shedeur Sanders in Colorado. This isn't a great college football team in Colorado, but Shedeur Sanders sure makes them seem like one. 4, Shedeur Sanders. You know who's number 3? A guy who helps him out doing that. A guy who does it on both ends. Some of the most receiving yards in the country. Some of the most interceptions in the country. The most clutch plays in the country. The most versatile player in the country, really in college football, since Jabril Peppers, in my opinion. Travis Hunter is number 3, everybody. Mr. Versatility is Travis Hunter. That's number 3. Number 2, Alabama quarterback, because you got to give the quarterback some recognition, and the fastest quarterback in the nation, Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe has really developed from a guy who's seen as a borderline receiver to running back type player into, okay, maybe he's a decent college ball quarterback. It's now Jalen Milroe is a legit Heisman contender, a legit NFL prospect, a legit guy who's going to win you football games. Number 2, Jalen Milroe. And number 1, is this even a question? Ashton Jeanty, running back, Boise State. 13 touchdowns through 4 games. 800 yards through 4 games. He's the star of this team. Pulling the tape. He's the best player in college football. Ashton Jeanty, number 1, Schoolyard Sports, Heisman watch list, top 5. Now, did you know, this week's Did You Know, it's a great one. Did you know Michael Jordan's Chicago Bulls had an 8-year streak starting in 1990, but they didn't have a single 3-game losing streak? Pretty ridiculous. Think about that. That's probably didn't know this week. Okay, everybody. I'm the Knicks fan here. I'm the analyst here. I'm going to break down the Karl Anthony Towns, Julius Randle trade, and I'm hot about it. So this is the Schoolyard Sports Scream of the week, because I'm angry about this trade, but I also love this trade at the same time. But it just shows how ruthless of a business we are in. Let's break it down. Karl Anthony Towns is drafted by the Minnesota Timberwolves in 2015. He plays great for them. They give him a massive contract. Now they want to ship him off after all the work he's done, because he's a massive contract that they gave him. They gave him that contract, now you want to ship him off. Okay. Julius Randle came to the Knicks in 2020, and had a great season in 2020, 2021, and is the reason why the Knicks are in the position today. If they don't have Julius Randle, Tom Thibodeau's not here anymore. Jalen Brunson's not here. Nobody is a Knicks player right now without Julius Randle, because Julius Randle is an incredible player. It is the reason why the Knicks had that revitalization in 2020, 2021 to make the playoffs, and then making it back to the playoffs the past 2 years. They gave him a massive contract too. And maybe the reason why they're shipping him off is because they gave him that massive contract. They gave him that massive contract. Not the Pelicans, not the Lakers, not anybody else. They gave him that contract, and now they want to ship him off. Common theme for both players, Karl Anthony Towns and Julius Randle, is they were replaced, to put it kindly, replaced by stars. Karl Anthony Towns was replaced in Minnesota by their new number 1 overall pick, Anthony Edwards. And Julius Randle was replaced by Jalen Brunson, the new New York hero. 2020 season, 2021 season, Julius Randle was a king in New York, king in the streets. Jalen Brunson comes around, it's like, Julius Randle, push him off to the side. We don't need him anymore. That whole playoff run for the Knicks last year, they didn't need Julius Randle. He wasn't there. It's a bigger loss maybe for Knicks fans, at least in my eyes, to lose Dante DiVincenzo, a guy who was actually there in the playoff run. That doesn't mean it's not cutthroat. That doesn't mean this deal isn't unjust, in my opinion. Because it is. It really is. I love the Knicks are getting Karl-Anthony Towns. I love it. It's going to be the best starting five in the NBA now because you're going to have Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, and Karl-Anthony Towns all in the starting five now. That's the deepest team in the NBA. That's the deepest starting five if they stay healthy. The Timberwolves, let's see how Dante DiVincenzo and Anthony Edwards work together, and Julius Randle. But it's just tough that both these players are the reason why these teams are in the position they're in today. They are both replaced, and they are both given great contracts for the contributions they made, yet they are shipped off for that exact same reason. That's about my Schoolyard Sports Scream this week. I'm hot about it. I think the Knicks won the trade. They get the all-star. They get the great player, Karl-Anthony Towns. Julius Randle's great. Let's see how he does with Anthony Edwards. I don't think it's going to go very well for him. Julius Randle likes to have the ball in his hand. Anthony Edwards at times will just say, give me the rock. I'm going to go do what I do. So let's see how this all works out. But I'm very happy as a Knicks fan. Kind of sad to see as an NBA fan. It's good to see Julius Randle go because he wouldn't have fit in this team. But sad to see him go because contributions he made to revitalizing this franchise. And for that, Julius Randle will forever be in my heart. What a great player he was for New York. That's my Schoolyard Sports Scream this week. And I think for Minnesota fans, same thing with Cat. He was there since 2015. A lot of people, a lot of kids watching basketball grew up with Cat as a Minnesota Timberwolves fan. I know I did. So, Minnesota Timberwolves player, Cat, shipped off to New York. Julius Randle, former Knicks player, shipped off to Minnesota. That's about Schoolyard Sports Scream this week. Hot on this NBA trade. Now, around the bases, and I can't wait for this. Last year when I did around the bases come playoff time, I predicted exactly right that the Texas Rangers win the World Series. That was on the spot. Right now, at this time, get rid of my notes. I don't know who's winning the World Series. Maybe some series I do. I don't know who's winning the World Series. We're going to break that down right now, and I'm going to give you my answer, which will be right, like last year's was right. Let's hop into it. Mets versus the Brewers. The series is going to be over by the time this episode comes out. But I'm going to go with the Mets over the Brewers. They won game one today. They're on a roll. Mets over the Brewers. Second game, Padres versus the Braves. Second series, again, Padres won game one tonight. I'm going to go with the Padres over the Braves. Royals won game one today against the Orioles. I'm going to stick with that pick. Royals, fortunately, knock out the Orioles. Orioles had great seasons past 2 years. They get knocked out in the first round back-to-back years. Tough to see right there. Tigers versus the Astros. This Tigers team is a great bond. It's going to be a great series against the Guardians. Tigers over the Astros in this wildcard series. So we went through our 4 wildcard series. Now let's hop into our divisional round series. Tigers versus the Guardians. I mean, I love a great Midwest baseball matchup, especially in the playoffs. So Tigers versus the Guardians. This Tigers team is so well connected. This Guardians team has a lot of good players. So I'm going to go with the Guardians over the Tigers. And Mayo Class A, the man watching this one, and Jose Ramirez, who almost had a 40-40-40 season. 40 home runs, 40 stolen bases, and just had a great season. Jose Ramirez. Next series, Yankees versus the Royals, which I have right now because I have the Royals taking down the Orioles. I'm going to go with the Yankees in this one. I think Bobby Witt Jr. should win MVP over Aaron Judge. Yeah, Aaron Judge is on the better team, and they're going to win this series. Yankees or the Royals. Now, let's move things over to the NL. So, I had the Mets taking down the Brewers, and now we got a Mets-Phillies matchup, a little good NL East matchup. It's been tight all season between these two teams. Come playoff time, the Phillies are great in the playoffs. You have not seen this Mets team in October, and you don't want to see this Mets team in October. Gritty pitchers, gritty players, gritty hitters, gritty staff on this team. I'm going to go with the Mets over the Phillies in this one in 5. Mets over the Phillies. Let's go. New York into the NLCS. Dodgers versus the Padres, which I have in this one. I'm going to go with the Dodgers over the Padres. Again, Padres have been Dodgers kryptonite in the playoffs. That won't happen this year. I'm going to go with the Dodgers over the Padres, and we'll have a Dodgers versus Mets NLCS matchup. Let's bring things back over to the ALCS. So I've got the Yankees versus the Guardians. This is tough because the Guardians have good pitching, and the Yankees hitters, outside of Judge and Soto, dips off a large amount. I still think they get it done, and I still think they get to the World Series for the first time in a long time. Yankees get to the World Series over the Guardians. Let's go New York. Yankees over the Guardians. Now, Dodgers versus the Mets. Do we see a Subway Series? As much as I'd love a Subway Series, as a Mets fan, it'd be incredible to have a Subway Series. The Dodgers are going to win the series, unfortunately. Dave Roberts needs to get a championship, another championship. Outside the 2020 season, he has nothing. Dave Roberts hasn't been clutch in the playoffs ever as manager for the Los Angeles Dodgers. If it doesn't get done this year, when will it ever get done? So let's go with the Dodgers over the Mets, and it pains me to say that. It's going to be a great series. It's going to go 7 games. Dodgers over the Mets. And we have a Dodgers versus New York Yankees World Series. LA versus New York. It's what I've always wanted to see. A Dodgers versus Yankees World Series. Let's hop into it. I have the Dodgers taking down New York Yankees. Like how I predicted preseason, I had Dodgers over the Orioles preseason. I think the Dodgers are still the best team in the MLB at the time of this recording, same time I did in March when we recorded that episode. So, Dodgers won the 2024 World Series. I predicted it right last year. We're going to get it right again this year. Dodgers over the Yankees in the World Series. And that's about around the bases this week. Now, my spotlight for the week is on conference realignment, everybody. It's gone haywire in the past few days. We have now created a Pac 8 when we were down to a Pac 2 a few months ago. Now we're in a Pac 8, which we're calling a Pac 12, I guess. But, it's only 8 teams in the conference now. Gonzaga was added to the Pac 8 today for basketball. And I'm confused by this because they want to be a good conference in football. They want to be included in the college football playoff top 5 power conferences conversation. But if you're adding teams that don't even have a football team, what are you thinking? Now I know Mark Few and Gonzaga, one of the best college basketball programs in the country this century. You don't have it all. A college football program, how's that going to work out for you? Not an FCS school, not a D2 team. How's it going to work out? We'll see how it goes. But Gonzaga really does have many sports outside basketball. Interested to see how that works. If they were just going to join for one sport, why not join the Big 12? Maybe they're afraid of that. So Gonzaga into the Pac-12 now. Another team that joined a new conference, UTEP, joined the Mountain West. I'm located here in El Paso. The show is located in El Paso. It's big for UTEP, taking a big step, leaving Conference USA, going over to the Mountain West. But for all these teams, it's like, what is the point of all this conference realignment? What is the point? Okay? These teams leave the Mountain West. Colorado State's leaving the Mountain West. Fresno State's leaving the Mountain West. Just to play the same teams in the Pac-12. It's not serious, in my opinion. Conference realignment is not serious at all. Sacramento State, an FCS school, is trying to raise $35 million, which I think they actually did in one night, to go over to the Pac-12. How's that going to work? You're an FCS school making the jump to FBS, a former power conference. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. The Pac-12, credit to them for the way they've turned this around after literally being flipped from on to off overnight, from being flipped from a good conference with some of the best schools in the country to absolutely off in one night. To rebuilding now with what they have, which is Gonzaga, Fresno State, Colorado State, a few other bad teams in there. But it's not serious, this conference realignment. All these teams, in my opinion, either should have stayed in their conferences, or we should have built out a real conference. Because what we have right now, this isn't serious. It's not serious at all, in my opinion. That's about my spotlight this week on conference realignment. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Now, College Football Showcase Top 25. Here are my top 25 teams in the country. Your Schoolyard Sports Top 25. The only top 25 you need to see. Let's hop into it. Number 1, Texas Longhorns. Texas still is the best one in the country. Michigan. Yes, I think Michigan right now might be a better win, at least on the road. The Georgia for Alabama was at home. Alabama being Georgia at home isn't as big of a win as Texas going up to the Big House and being Michigan. That's my opinion. Not as a biased Michigan fan. Just going up to the Big House, being that good of a Michigan team is not as incredible as Alabama's win over Georgia. Texas, still number 1. 2, Tennessee. Tennessee really hasn't shown me any reason to drop them. They've been playing great football. Played great again this week. 2, Tennessee. 3, Alabama. Alabama, what a great start to that game they had. I was ready to move them up to number 1. They were dominating Georgia, taking care of business, what they really should do in those games. But Kirby Smart does what Kirby Smart does. He made adjustments, came back, got the lead, and then Ryan Williams happened, everybody. Played great against Georgia in that game, had that great catch, won them that game with those spin moves, with that amazing play. But Jalen Milroe struggled a little bit. His defense struggled a little bit in the second half. And I'll love to see that after going up 28-0 to go down 34-33 at one point in the game. Tough to see right there. So a lot of unanswered points in my opinion for Alabama. They're a great team. They got a great win. They're still number 3, but they're not top 2 in my opinion. 4, Ohio State. Ohio State takes care of business against Michigan State. Tough to see right there as a Michigan fan. 5, Georgia. Again, Georgia doesn't fall much, but still should have won that game after you get that lead. Shouldn't have given up that play to Ryan Williams. All Kirby Smart's preaching this time at Georgia is not bonehead defensive plays. Well, that play right there, Glenn Schumann, defensive coordinator of Georgia, that was a bonehead play right there. 6, Michigan got a little risky against Minnesota. They'll play the national champion runner-up last year, Washington. National championship rematch on Saturday night, Washington versus Michigan. 7, Missouri, go Tigers. 8, Miami. Miami really should have lost that game. And I thought they did lose that game. They ruled a Hail Mary touchdown catch at first. Miami loses the game. Then they reverse the call. Really still tough to see if that call is right or wrong. 8, Miami. 9, Oregon, taking care of business against UCLA. 10, USC. They can take care of business against Wisconsin. They'll play Minnesota this week. They still have a good loss against Michigan up in the Big House. 10, USC. 11, LSU. Good team, but for obvious reasons, they're below USC. The head-to-head for USC over LSU. 12, Ole Miss. Disgusting loss by Ole Miss to Kentucky at home. 12, Ole Miss. They dropped a lot for me. I think from 3 to 12. 13, Penn State. I'm not enamored with this Penn State team. I don't love this Penn State team. They're 13. 14, Clemson. Credit to them. After their week 1 loss to Georgia, they've just been chopping and chopping and chopping at all their opponents, winning these games by so much. Taking care of business. Clemson, 14. 15, Notre Dame. Nice win over a ranked team in Louisville. Notre Dame has 2 ranked wins now. Louisville at Texas A&M. Hate them as much as you want for the Northern Illinois game. They're still the top 15 team in the country. 15, Notre Dame. 16, Boston College. Only 1 loss to Missouri. A very close game. They stay at 16, my Eagles. 17, Oklahoma. Boomer Sooner. 18, BYU. Jake Retzloff playing some good football for BYU. 19, Utah. Go Utes. 20, Texas A&M. Texas A&M. Big win against Arkansas last week. Get things going again this week against Missouri. 21, Nebraska. Nebraska, Cornhuskers. Yeah, that really tough loss to Illinois. Now they're trying to rebuild a little bit. 21, Dylan Raiola. Matt Rule, 21. 22, Boise State. Aston Genty has put this entire Broncos team on his back, and that's why they're ranked number 22 in the country. Only 1 loss by 3 points to Oregon, a top 10 team for me. Boise State, 22. 23, Illinois, Luke Altmaier. They went to Penn State, Happy Valley. It's a really tough place to play, and they couldn't come out with the win. 24, Iowa State. Iowa State still undefeated. 25, in year 1 of Manny Diaz at Duke. They're undefeated at 5-0. Leaky Murphy played some great football. They had a great comeback against North Carolina from being down 20-0 to win that game. Great game right there. And Duke has a great path to being 8-0 going to that Miami game down in Miami. Would love to see that. That's 25. And that's about for my Schoolyard Sports Top 25 this week. Stay tuned for the hot takes coming up next. Now, my College Football Showcase hot takes, everybody. Let's hop into them. First one, Missouri versus Texas A&M. It's a tough game. It's SEC battle. Missouri has 1 loss, or no loss on the year. Undefeated still. But a very tight game they had against Vanderbilt and a really tight game they had against Boston College. Vanderbilt game, credit to Vanderbilt. It's a good team. Diego Pavia, good quarterback. I don't think Texas A&M can put that much offensive pressure on Missouri like Vanderbilt did. Missouri over A&M, and they recovered. They had a bye week. They went over things. They were missing those past 2 games against BC and Vanderbilt. And they're going to get a win right here over A&M. Missouri over A&M. Next game, SMU versus Louisville. SMU, in their first 3 in the ACC, really hitting their stride. Rhett Lashley, a head coach, made the tough decision to bench Preston Stone and start Kevin Jennings. It's done them great wonders, taking down that Florida State team, that defense last week. Kevin Jennings just slicing and dicing defenses all across America and college sport right now. He does it again this week against a ranked Louisville team. SMU over Louisville. South Carolina versus Ole Miss. It's in South Carolina. This is a tough place to play. You know the fans are going to want to rush the field. They wanted to do it after they almost beat LSU 2 weeks ago. Dylan Stewart is one of the best pass rushers in the nation. Is only a freshman. Raheem Sanders, the best running back in the SEC. Norris Sellers knows what he's doing at quarterback. I had the South Carolina Gamecocks taking down Ole Miss. Ole Miss lose for the 2nd straight week in a row, and this team starts to crumple after what a great start they had to the year, after what seems so promising, and now championship run maybe all starts to fall down right now. I'm going with South Carolina. SEC matchup over Ole Miss, a really good South Carolina team with only 1 loss to LSU over Ole Miss. Next one, Michigan versus Washington. Right now, Washington's favorite, everybody. The Purple Rain in this night game, things can get tricky. I think Michigan is going to be used to whatever the weather is, whether it's rain, because they played in it last week. They're going to run the ball all the way down Washington's throat. Washington lost in Rutgers last week. Wasn't a good game. Michigan in the national championship rematch throttles Washington. Let's go. Michigan over Washington. Next game, College Game Day is going to be there. Miami versus Cal. Now, Jaden Knott for Cal, one of the best running backs in the country. He's been a bit banged up this year. Hasn't put up great stats. Mendoza, quarterback for Cal, struggling a little bit. And then you obviously got for Cam Ward from Miami. Played some great football. Miami, that was their wake-up call last week. And they had over a week to prepare for this game now. Going out to California after being in Miami, being in Florida pretty much the whole entire season, it's an adjustment for sure. When was the last time you saw a Miami versus Cal game? Probably never, okay? It's very 2 different schools, 2 different football programs going at it. Justin Wilcox, great program over at Cal. Mario Cristobal, familiar with him from his days at Oregon. Mario Cristobal knows how to get his guys up for that game at Cal. And I think they're going to get the win. Miami, close though, over Cal. Let's go a little bit low scoring. This defense for Cal isn't bad. 20-14, Miami over Cal. Now, for the game of the week. Call it controversial if you think this isn't the game of the week. I think it is. The 5-0 Rutgers Scarlet Knights taking on the 4-1 Nebraska Cornhuskers. Neither teams are ranked. I think they should be. Rutgers 5-0. played some great football. Ethan KNICKS playing great football, transferred from Minnesota. Cal Monungai, one of the best running backs in the country, maybe the best running back in the Big Ten, and Greg Schiano has his guys going to chop down in this game. But for the other side, Matt Rule, Nebraska, Dylan Raiola, they're hungry. They lose this game, their playoff hopes might go away. They win this game, they got a big chance. But I'm going to go with the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, keeping it going, moving on to 6-0. Dylan Raiola, only his freshman year, doesn't need to win every game. They move on to 4-2, and the Rutgers Scarlet Knights improved to 6-0 for the first time in a long time for Rutgers up Piscataway. They're celebrating right now over my pick, and that's the game of the week, and those are my hot takes predictions. Leave your thoughts in the comments. You know that thing where it's like, you could always think that this is going to happen. Always think it's going to happen, even though it hasn't happened in a very long time. Every time there's a chance for maybe to happen, gotta bring it up. Well, that's me and New York sports teams winning a championship. Hasn't happened since 2012 when the Giants took down the Patriots in the Super Bowl. A New York team of any sport hasn't won a championship since 2012. But we got two teams, maybe having a big chance at it, maybe on the brink of it, the New York Yankees and New York Mets. There's a few teams in this MLB playoffs, but two of them are from New York. And if just one of them can win the World Series, then we are a world champion. New York has a world champion for the first time since 2012. That's kind of crazy to think about. I didn't know that New York hasn't had a champion since 2012 for team-wise. Kind of ridiculous to think about for such a big market New York is. That's not the buzzer. Hopefully, the Mets and the Yankees can get it done this year. Hopefully, my Mets, even though I got the Dodgers taking that down. Dodgers are going to pull down that banner when it comes time to unveil a new season next year. They're going to win the World Series. But still, Yankees or Mets, they can maybe break that curse of New York teams not winning a championship. That's about for at the buzzer this week. Now, the best for last question day. This week's question day is, I know I talked about the best players in college football earlier on the show. Who have been the best players in the NFL so far this season, let alone the best player? Justin Jefferson making a great case. Sam Darnold making a great case. Christian McCaffrey, never mind, hasn't played yet. A few other guys making some good cases to be the best player in the NFL this season. Leave your answer in the comments. That's about for question day this week. That's part of Schoolyard Sports Lane Frank, episode 185. Thank you for tuning in. Follow Schoolyard Sports on Instagram at Schoolyard Sports. Follow Schoolyard Sports on X at Schoolyard Sports. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review for the best sports content in the world. Be back here next week, episode 186. Stay tuned.